Years ago, a client of mine received a phone call telling her that she should really go to her mother's house. 3 days before, she had a nasty argument with her mother, and they were not talking to each other since then. My client found police and fireman apparatus around the house, and she found her mother dead. She had committed suicide, and this was a major shock. This brought guilt, of course, intense guilt feelings. And I met this client only 10 years after this happened, and she still wasn't able to smile. She was still angry with life, with herself, with the world. One might think that indeed her mother committed suicide also partially against her daughter as a retaliation. She must have known that this act would follow on her daughter's head. Anyway, in many situations what I have found is that people who commit suicide and people who even consider suicide, they are very angry with themselves. And suicide, in a way, is a murder committed on oneself. So it implies a lot of aggression and anger against oneself. Of course, there are situations where there is such an intense physical and mental, or sometimes mostly mental suffering, that suicide is understandable. Although to the spiritual traditions, it is something that is said not to work to anyone's interest, because it produces shockwaves that follow the suicidal person to the afterlife. But that's another subject matter here. So it's important to consider that each time we have suicidal thoughts, we are considering self-murder. There is a lot of aggression there. There is a lot of inner split between the aggressor part of ourselves and the part we are moving against. And we must deal with that, face it, and understand that separating ourselves between victim and perpetrator does not work. What we really need is unity within, is self-love, is restoring some trust in ourselves, is giving ourselves a chance, is moving in a different way through life. And it's welcoming life with gratitude also.